Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Wednesday, April 15th, tax day, or at least former tax day edition of the show. I'm Gary.
I'm Chris.
And we are talking a whole lot of football today, along with some MMA. The quarantine finally got to me. It finally got me. I have not showered today. I've had no time to do anything. I woke up a little late. I didn't get up in time to work out. I had the boy for a little while this morning by myself. My wife had some work stuff she had to get done. I had to run to the grocery store and stand in line and whatnot. And it has been, I haven't caught up. I still hadn't caught up. Hey, have you had one of those days yet?
Oh, today? No. Today I woke up, got a job started. The job that we're working on today, I literally can hit a golf ball from my house to that house. So, I mean, it's gorgeous outside, just easy, smooth sailing day for me.
I will be on the back porch with a cigar and another one of these bourbon drinks. Today's drink, by the way, Benchmark 8, $10 bottle. You mix it up with some water. You do about half and half. Pretty smooth. Michael already jumped in on Twitch. Said, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Michael? How you doing out in Denver or the Denver area?" I don't know if he's actually in Denver, but he's a Broncos guy.
No, we're not in Memphis, but we say that.
Exactly. Yeah, we're in Memphis. We'll say we're in Memphis. So we'll say he's in Denver. How's that? It is gorgeous outside. It's absolutely beautiful here in the Bluff City area. But we are going to sit inside and we're going to talk some football today. Let's go ahead and jump into the first main topic here. We, again, are curating different ideas, right? And Chris sent me a text this morning with a wonderful idea about not where we think the
you
top
a million mock drafts, okay?
Yeah, we're not mocking anything. We're going to talk about where we want the top 5 or 6 wide receivers to go in this year's draft, where we think they will fit better, where we would like to see them play, etc.
This is the most fun wide receiving group that we've seen ever come out of college. I think this is better than the Odell Landry draft. I think that draft was pretty damn incredible for wide receivers.
Yep.
I really fully believe this one. The only way we're getting a lot of busts come out of here is if you just go to – now, here's the problem. These guys aren't going to go where we want them to go. Somebody's going to go to the Jets, and somebody's going to be a bust.
Yes.
Because they suck.
Yeah.
They're just really bad. I heard numbers today that offensively, the Jets, there are only 32 teams, and there are like, I don't know, 19 different metrics offensively you can measure a team. They weren't better than 28th in anything. And Adam Gase is supposed to be like
this
like
offensive guru.
Dude.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
How many careers has Peyton Manning made? Really? How many people have lived off the jock of that guy?
Well, I mean, but at the same time, you can say that about Tom Brady. You can say that about, but more so Manning, because Manning himself, he was his own coach, right? Like, he handled everything himself.
So here's the problem with Tom. Who's the one guy that really got just stupid, crazy paid by a lot of different people was Charlie Weiss.
Yeah, that's exactly who I was going to say.
After Charlie Weiss, nobody else got that. Bill O'Brien got his NFL hit
because of what he did at Penn State.
He took over. Listen, we mock Bill, but I'm going to tell you this. What he took over and was able to accomplish at Penn State, if you can remember back that far, and that was really impressive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're
There's
right.
no amount of money or anything that would make me want to take that job or walk into that situation. And he did it. He did it with class. He
didn't win a lot, but he was more successful than anybody expected him to be. We got Ryan that jumped in on YouTube.
Successful there.
Oh, yeah.
Totally crippled them with scholarship restrictions.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, but he was 8-4, 7-5, 6-5, whatever.
Stability to
but
a
it was
place
stability.
that I thought the NCAA was going to bring to their knees.
Yes, that is true.
And to win 8 games there in the mark of that, that's amazing.
Yes, it most certainly is. It most certainly is. Ryan Barron, new follower on YouTube, jumped in. He said, "What's good?" Michael said he was born and raised in Denver, but lives in Cali temporarily. So, and then Matt, of course,
temporarily.
That's what he said. I don't know what that means.
You just locked down there. We're on vacation. They locked the city down.
We quarantined. We quarantined in Cali. All right, I've got 6 wide receivers that I'm going to talk about today. How many you got?
5. I just did the top 5. Now, and here's the thing: my top 5 and your top. I would be shocked if my 5 are not in yours. There were 2 others that I thought about finding a place for, but at some point in time, I got to. So I tried to do this to where could it realistically be possible for them to land here? So, like, if somebody doesn't have a first-round pick or a second-round pick, then I'm thinking these guys aren't going there. But I guess somebody could trade up. So. There are no rules. Where do you want them to go? That's fine.
I will start us off since I have 6, so I can start and end. Before we do that, Ryan said, "Who do you want the Patriots to select?" I'm hoping for Kenneth Murray. We know you're a big Pats fan. Just you got any ideas for the 20 whatever?
You know what? They're drafting a little earlier than they usually draft.
But it's 21st or 23rd?
Mid-20s. I thought it was like 25, but I could be wrong.
I think it's like 23rd.
Close attention to it.
Either way, he wants.
Yep, sorry.
23rd.
I have it pulled up, which is why I was able to scroll through it real quick. 23rd. In all honesty, it's the boring pick, but I think the offensive linemen coming out of this year's draft are better than they've been in a long, long time, and I would like an O-line. I know that's boring. If I could do anything, I'd take one of these receivers to pair with, maybe N'Keal Harry. If it's Bill, he's going to take some DB. Whoever the smallest DB is, he's just going to draft that guy.
Probably Trayvon Diggs.
There's a 30% chance that nobody knows that guy's name in 3 months. I mean, really, that's just Bill's kryptonite is he's actually not good at He's not good at drafting at all. He just doesn't like college kids, and he's not great at. Look at his drafts.
Oh no, I know.
Look at his first and second round picks. Like the fact that he finds diamonds in the rough late are great, but the only reason he's able to do that is because he gets so many bites at the apple. Every year, the Patriots have more picks than almost anybody else.
Yeah, they got the compensatory stuff.
Yeah, and he's just all about give me 100 bites at the apple, and I'll find a guy. When everybody else says, give me the blue chip guy. And it's, as a fan, it's the one thing. Now, you go to 9 Super Bowls, you win 6 of them. It's really hard to bitch about things. I get it.
This is true. This is very true.
But it is the one thing that's frustrating as hell is.
Because you can't get excited about a draft.
No, I never get excited about a draft. We drafted,
N'Keal Harry last year, and you were stoked about it. Yeah.
I was pumped. I was crazy pumped because I thought, big, tall, fast receiver, and then I realized, oh, yeah, we took the one guy who played in the Pac-12 and can't be healthy.
Yeah.
So, he never had a good cover corner guard him his entire life, and he's not really healthy.
True. Jesus Christ. All right, let me start this thing off.
I have none of these going to the Patriots, by the way. FYI.
Neither do I.
I tried to not be a homer or the Browns.
I looked for a combination of best fit and where I would like for them to play.
I want a fun situation, and I have reasons for all of them. So go ahead, fire away.
Number 1 for me, I've got Jerry Jeudy. Okay. I've got Jeudy going to the Raiders. Now, I've seen Jets. I've seen Raiders. I've seen drop into the Broncos. I've seen him go into the 49ers. I think you pair him in that Raiders offense. They don't have a good all-around route-running receiver on the Raiders, right? He can do what Antonio Brown really should have been able to do last year, and I think that a receiver like that can make Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota that much better. I think the Raiders can be a ton of fun with Jeudy and Josh Jacobs, who they got last year, along with Hunter Renfrow and whatever. I think Jeudy would make the Raiders way more fun. So that's who I hope he ends up going to.
So you're going to see a pattern of mine is I went a little the rich get richer, the poor get poorer in this.
Okay.
And I also went complimentary if you're big time guy. I'll just start, and we'll kind of get there.
Yeah.
So the first guy I went with, and this is no real order. This is just literally the order that CBS has these guys in.
Okay.
And that's just this is not who I think is the best, whatever. CeeDee Lamb, I like him going to the Panthers. Listen, Joe Brady gets to ride the offense, and Teddy Bridgewater gets to take over a team with already DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. And if you were to throw CeeDee Lamb on there, just strength on strength, they've locked up McCaffrey for the rest of his life. Like, that used to be a defensive football team. We thought of the Panthers, and we thought Cam Newton, a couple of pieces on offense, but a hard-nosed Ron Rivera coached defensive football team. Even before Ron Rivera, it was John Fox, and it was, just that kind of football. Man, I say let's throw the past out and let's go forward. Let's go all in on offense, strength on strength. Yeah. We got 3 receivers in McCaffrey, all the toys that Brady and Bridgewater could want, and let's let her rip, Tater Chip. Let's go fast, and let's spread it out and go wild.
I have the Panthers with somebody else. We will get to them here in just a little bit. I've got CeeDee Lamb at number 2 going to the 49ers. He is a speedster. He can also run incredible. I think he and Jerry Jeudy are the 2 best all-around receivers in this draft. They can run incredible routes. They can catch the deep ball. They can block. What CeeDee Lamb may have over Jerry Jeudy is he's a little bit bigger, and he's got a little more weight on him. I like him with the 49ers. I think that he in that offense. Could you imagine Shanahan?
So I have somebody else. It's hard. Let's try to make this more of a conversation.
Okay.
You brought up the 49ers. I don't have the Raiders and anything. So let's kind of play off this. I have Ruggs going there.
Okay.
For kind of the same reasons, Deebo Samuel is the utility knife of wide receivers.
Right.
But
he's not a number 1.
He can do anything. Oh, I think he is a number 1, by the way. Absolutely.
So? I think he's the utility knife. I think that he's more dangerous.
But he can run every route. When you've got a guy that can run every route and run it from any position on the field as a skill player, what do you need to open that guy up? You need straight line speed to take the top off the defense, so that guy can free up everything. You can't guard all of that. Kyle Shanahan's brain, you give them a rip away speed guy with to pair with Deebo, man, I would love that. I mean, if they got CeeDee, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's not like CeeDee's slow. Like
I think CeeDee's better than Ruggs. I do think I'm with you. I think he's the most complete wide receiver in this draft.
I'm along the same lines as you, by the way, with Deebo. But I think CeeDee as your number 1 takes a little more focus off of Deebo and allows him even more space to work with. Like I think you have to focus on CeeDee Lamb with your number 1 corner, and anybody else you got on the field is not going to be able to keep up with Deebo either. So I think CeeDee,
and then you have the size strength factor of Kittle.
Yeah. Oh
that,
Lord, yeah.
That nobody else could really hang with.
That would be ridiculous.
That would make them so. I really want them with the assets they have in this draft. I really want them to take one of these wide receivers. I really do. They've got the picks to do it. Like, that's not one of those things where they just competed for a Super Bowl. Probably none of these guys are going to fall that far, or none of the top guys are going to fall that. No, man, they're picking early, brother.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
I think 13. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
They've got Indianapolis's pick.
It was before the top. It was in the top 15. Yeah, 13. That's it. You're right.
Yeah.
Right
they had Indy's pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They just got the defensive player. They traded that guy away. Ford. Yep.
So Michael, he said, I don't trust Jimmy G, but Lamb and San Fran would be dangerous for sure. Who's your number?
Jimmy's just fine.
So we did Jerry Jeudy, we did CeeDee Lamb. Who's your second guy?
I did Ruggs at the 49ers.
So okay, so that was
Ruggs and the 49ers.
Let's stay on Ruggs then for a minute.
Okay, so you give me your Ruggs.
I want Ruggs to go to the Eagles. I think him and Doug Peterson's offense, he could turn Peterson's offense into what Kansas City is doing. Now, Carson Wentz, not exactly the same quarterback as Patrick Mahomes, but You get a speedster like that, you got a Tyreek Hill type, you got a and Ruggs, I think, is a better route runner than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman are speedsters, right? They can fly. We know that Ruggs can fly, but he can also, he can do everything, right? Ruggs is really good. He's not as good as Judy, but he's 1A, 1B type, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if Ruggs could, if somehow the Eagles could find a way to get him, I think he would make their offense that much better.
So my only knock on that, my only issue and counter to that is I don't believe that that's Peterson's offense. I think that was Frank Wright's offense.
Yeah, totally possible.
That's the problem is because ever since Frank Wright left for the Colts in that Super Bowl, that offense is not.
But they also lost a lot of guys, right? And that happens after every Super Bowl, typically.
But
they don't have it. They don't have any speed
great
guys.
offensive-minded coaches figure ways out to make things happen. And offensively, they have been stuck in the mud for 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that changes. I would not want one of these guys to go to an offense like that. I don't think that's fun. That scares me. So let me tell you where I got Judy going. Okay. You've already hit him. I'll go ahead and hit him, and we'll get that one out of the way. Strength on strength, baby. Arizona Cardinals, just don't listen. You got a lot of holes. Your defense sucks. Who cares? If you're gonna bring Cliff Kingsbury in to run a Pac-12, Big 12 offense, he ain't care about defense.
Yeah, give him some
strength
weapons.
On strength, double down. You got at least one more year of Larry Fitzgerald to teach these boys something. You pair him with Deshaun Hopkins and Kyler Murray, and let's go.
That would be the most ridiculous lineup of wide receivers
Who cares if
I may have ever
defense
seen.
Sucks. It's okay. He'll be all right.
You still got Patrick Peterson back there. We're fine,
Put
right?
a lot of points up. Patrick Peterson, he's getting old. Man, listen, I love Patrick. He's a little long in the tooth for DB.
You got that right. Right. All right, so number 4 for me.
Okay.
Your boy, Justin Jefferson. I got him going to the Panthers.
Okay, that would be fun. Listen,
he had
Joe Brady getting him. Yeah.
Joe Brady getting him. He led led college football in receptions last year. Had over 1,500 receiving yards, just ridiculous touchdowns. He could do everything. And on top of that, as a covered receiver, he caught a higher percentage of passes than anybody else in the country. Even if you've got him covered in the NFL, I still think he's going to be able to catch passes. I think I've already told you this. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be able to do a lot of the same things that Joe Burrow did at LSU.
I agree with that.
I think Jefferson in that offense, you've already seen him do it with Joe Brady. I think this would be fantastic for him. Obviously, they've already got great receivers there. You toss one more, I mean, good gracious. Joe Brady has just a plethora of stuff to work with. I think he'd be great with the Panthers.
So I think Justin Jefferson is – I think he's the best route runner in this draft, and he's one of the best route runners to ever come out of college, to be as crisp and as precise, be able to run them all. His cuts are as just sharp as everybody's. I got him going to the Seahawks. Listen, Russell Wilson, you got the big monster with
you got DK Metcalf.
Speed of DK Metcalf that could just go up and get it. You know, you put a guy like Justin Jefferson in that offense, and Russell Wilson hasn't ever had 2 receivers of that caliber in his life. Okay.
Yeah, that's
true. I mean, he had Baldwin at the end of Baldwin's career and Lockett, but Lockett's kind of always been a little fella, a speedster, but the older he gets, he's not as fast as he used to be.
Yeah.
I think that would be a lot of fun. I'm also tired of watching Russell Wilson have to come from behind all the time.
That's
true.
True.
I want to see them actually get him some weapons for once. Something they seem to.
Do they still have Schottenheimer?
Yes, running the offense.
That's where I'm a little scared. You know, like I don't think they're gonna ever do anything outside of the box. You know, and maybe I'm wrong.
I know. Maybe that guy will get fired.
Number 5 for me, Laviska Shenault. Now, this is where I think we get a little different on what
I didn't have Shenault in mind. I knew I had a feeling you were going to.
Dude, I love Laviska Shenault. He is massive. He can make every play on the field. He's unbelievable. The biggest thing is he's just got to stay healthy, right? So long as he can stay healthy, I've got him as the number 5 receiver in this draft, and I think he would belong with the Minnesota Vikings. Without Stephon Diggs, they don't really have a number 1 guy. I mean, they got Thielen. I understand they got guys, but Shenault as a physical freak would fit perfectly with Kirk Cousins' offense. I understand they lost their offensive coordinator, all that kind of stuff. I think they're going to be just fine. Michael actually jumped in. He said, I know he has health issues. I hope Denver steals him if he drops. I think he's going to drop further than Denver's. Like, Denver could steal him in the second round if he goes in the second.
I think some of these guys are going to drop because of the sheer fact of there are numbers.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many wide receivers.
There are a lot of them, and there aren't a lot of offensive linemen coming out. There aren't a lot of elite defensive players coming out, and I think there's a lot of these guys.
Yeah, a lot of wide receivers this year. A lot of running backs too, by the way. I mean, just
that's what I'm saying. I think those 2 positions, because there's so many, you're going to see guys in the second day get drafted pretty well.
So I like Shenault in Minnesota. I think he fits really well in a dome. I think it'd be great.
I'm going to tell you this. This is a draft. Minnesota's front office has to hit.
Oh, yeah.
So I was looking back when I was looking at the Minnesota-Cleveland deal, which we'll get to earlier today. Minnesota, if they're wise, they just trade all their picks because they haven't hit on a first-round pick in like 5 years.
In forever.
I mean, Bill Belichick is doing better than they are draft-wise. I mean, they're just not. They're not.
Yeah, it's been bad.
If they don't make a pick and hit on, and that's the reason so many of these teams get in cap trouble, especially teams that compete every year and are in the playoff run every year like they've been.
Yeah.
If you don't hit on first-round picks, then you're going to always be in cap trouble because you can't ever let somebody go for a cheaper star.
Yeah, the odds of finding somebody
you're paying full freight for every star player you have strictly because you can't draft one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I know Broncos fans are really wanting a wide receiver in this draft.
I think
you can get one late. I think you can get one late. I don't think you got to take one in the first round. Like if Ruggs falls to him,
they can take one. That's fine.
Yeah,
I didn't pick them because all the teams I have these guys going to, like I said, it's all strength on strength.
Yeah,
it's all. If you're not a big, fun, explosive offense, I didn't put you in here. I just didn't. I don't have my Patriots in here. I think the Browns have a chance to be a big, fun, explosive offense. They got to prove me something. So these are all teams that I think are fun to watch and are going to be fun to watch right now.
You know what would be insane is if the obviously we saw Drew Lock in college, and he was the king of the deep ball at Missouri. I mean, any one of these speedster guys.
Now, if he got a Ruggs, that'd be
or now, obviously, again, this won't be a first round guy. It might be late first round, but I'm looking more second round, maybe even third round. Denzel Mims at Baylor. Now, I don't have him as my sixth guy.
So Mims and Shenault, I did not have on my list.
That's who's your fifth guy? Let's go.
So my fifth guy's T. Higgins. Is that who you got? As your sixth?
I got him number 6. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So where I have T going is Baltimore, and it's strictly strength on strength. It's they already have a speed demon receiving back in Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
Golly, my brain went dead for a minute there. Get a big physical receiver to pair with him. I like that combination a lot. It gives Jackson another just super versatile player to just kind of help give him more weapons and let that offense spread out more and just make them far more dangerous than they already are.
Yeah, I could see that. I could 100% see that. I think they're going to roll a little more on defense this year, but I could be completely wrong. I think they feel good about their offense, but we will see. We will obviously see. I've got T. Higgins going to the Packers. I think the Packers need serious wide receiver help. Their offense was complete garbage last year. I think Aaron Rodgers still has stuff in the tank. I know you're not a big Rodgers fan. Totally get it. Totally makes sense. But it's not like the guy forgot how to throw the football. He can still spin it. He can let it go. I think he would be magnificent in Green Bay. Like he's so big, he's so fast, and nobody really wants to talk about him. But if you remember that national championship game, not this past year, but the year before against Alabama, T. Higgins was an absolute beast. Now, everybody wanted to talk about Justin Ross. I get it, because Ross made some ridiculous catches. But Higgins, I mean, has been unbelievable for his entire career at Clemson. Yes, he played some trash teams, but he stepped up in big-time situations and showed out, and always showed out. I think Higgins is he'll be a steal for somebody in the second round of this draft, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him go in the first. Like, I could see him go before Chenault. I think Chenault, as far as overall talent goes, Chenault is better, but Higgins, you ain't got to worry about the medical issues. So
no, and Higgins is bigger too, right?
Oh yeah,
he's quite a bit bigger.
Yeah,
he's a big boy. I think.
Well, Chenault is big too. They're both like 6'3" ish, and weigh 225, whatever.
Yeah, you're right. Chenault's pretty big too.
Yeah, they're both big guys, and I think Chenault's overall ceiling is higher, but I don't think you ever have to worry about Higgins like not showing up for a game.
Oh yeah. Well, once again, I've told you, I think this is the deepest draft. I think the only way we get bust is if one of these guys ends up in purgatory, and there's just no. You're the only offensive weapon on some of these teams, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, we're not even talking about the kid from Notre Dame, the kid from Arizona State, Denzel Mims. We don't have. I mean,
yeah, no. I mean, like I said, no. There's a lot of talent. There's a TCU kid coming out. Like there's a
Rager. Yeah, he's ridiculous.
There's a ton of wide receiver talent coming in this draft. I mean, I think it's going to be the deepest and best wide receiver draft we've ever seen when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And the only way I think these 5 guys bust is if they go to just some organization that kills them.
Yeah, I agree.
I really think they're I don't want to say bust proof, but I just think the offenses are so complex and so complicated in college now. These kids come out more prepared. There's a reason we're seeing it used to be a thing where the third-year wide receiver was the breakout year.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, it became the second-year wide receiver was a breakout year.
I mean, now there's guys.
And now you're breaking out. Some guys are able to break out pretty good the rookie year just for the simple fact that everybody's far more polished. They've had so many more reps than they've ever had running far more complicated schemes.
Well, and when we had Cecil Hurd on, we talked about the fact that some guys can come in super prepared over the last 5-10 years or so, because their high school programs are run like college programs.
Well, that's it. Like, everything has become more advanced than it used to be.
Yeah,
we're just one. Everybody's a little closer to the pros than they've ever been.
You got that right.
So you pick one of your boys. You don't get to pick both of them. Pick one of your boys. Forget about what's the most fun. One of your boys. Where do you want them to go? Pick both. Pick one.
Let me take Judy. And obviously, I would love to have him on the Steelers. Like, I don't know who he would play in front of. I think he could end up playing in front of everybody other than Smith-Schuster. Like, I think he can be that good. I'd love to have Judy on the Steelers. I think he'd be great.
Too bad they don't have a first-round pick.
I know. I ain't worried about it.
If I could pick one of these players for my Patriots, it would be Justin. I really,
I can believe that.
Mainly because I know I can't believe Bill didn't take Deebo Samuels last year over because what does Bill value more than anything else?
Guys that can do more than one thing. Yeah.
Versatility is the most important thing to him. Availability and versatility. That's it. He doesn't care your skill set. He really doesn't. Oh, you're not the best at this? I don't care. I need somebody who can do a lot of things because we'll create tricks for you. Yeah. It's what we do as coaches. And
which is why it made sense that the 49ers took him.
Shanahan's
no doubt. The same way.
Bill didn't take him. Kyle Shanahan is that next guy in my brain to do that. But I think I wonder if he went wide receiver and I got to pick one of these guys for my team, I would say I'd want it to be him. Not because he's the LSU guy. I think his route running is perfect. And I think Bill likes that. I think they need somebody who's smart enough to learn everything that they want to do as quickly as they want to do it.
You know who this is way off topic. We're already 29 and a half minutes into this thing. Off topic. I rediscovered the Pat McAfee show this morning. Like, I know this is way off topic. He was interviewing all these different NFL guys. He had Stephen Gostkowski on today. He had Joe Schubert, from your Browns, who's now with the Jaguars. That dude is entertaining as who knows what. I'd love for this show to get to that point. Good God. He's so entertaining all the time.
He's famous already. He
I
has
know.
access to people to bring on. We don't have access to anybody.
I mean, he's a former NFL guy. Of course, he's going to,
Yeah.
he just calls them up, FaceTimes with all of them on the show, and it's fantastic. But I can watch it on YouTube in here. I was watching it at work pretty regularly. I got here, never turn on the TV in the mornings anymore. Turned it on this morning. Boom, McAfee show. I'm like, okay, sweet. Let's see. Michael jumped in. He said, if I had to take one for the Broncos, I would take Ruggs. Speed guy opposite Sutton. He said, I would take any of those 6 to pair with Sutton and Fant, though. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't be upset with any of these guys.
The speed guy for Denver, just like we talked about, Drew Lock, king of the deep ball, man, it'd be perfect there. Perfect there. You got to see what Fangio wants to do with that offense, though. I mean, that's what's scary is.
I don't think Fangio's going to do anything with it. I think Fangio's going to let his OC and Elway do it. But
yeah, I think you're probably right.
Fangio's going to take a defensive guy.
Yeah, probably first round.
If Vic had a choice, he's going to say, "Who's the best defensive player?"
Yep, that's who we're taking. All right, let's go on and move into the next item. We'll spend the next 15 minutes kind of rolling through these fairly quickly. Sure. Odell Beckham Jr. on the Browns trading block? Question mark. There were reports. Obviously, that's been trending. That's been a big deal here lately. I don't know if it's legit or not, and you came across some information that was telling. Go ahead and fill me in on this.
So I woke up this morning and I saw all this, and I immediately got pissed off first because I saw it was for a 2nd and a 5th, and I thought every receiver out there this year has gone for a first. We can't get a damn first for a guy who I believe at his peak is better than both those guys. Yeah. I think he's the most athletic receiver. If he can be healthy, which I think he's healthy. I think the reason he sucked last year was because Baker sucked. And Freddie Kitchen was they had a 1,000-pound anchor called Freddie Kitchen, and Baker Mayfield was just terrible. And so that's just part of it.
And it's not like this would be a salary dump either, because they got cap space.
Well, A, yeah, they've got cap space, and B, he's probably the best receiving contract that you could have right now. He makes substantially less. I mean, his average salary is around 13 to 14 million a year, and these other guys are making $16 million.
Yeah.
Plus 2020 is the last year of all his guaranteed money, but he's locked up through the year of 2023. So you've got him free and clear after that. If he's good, if he stays great, then you have him for a really, really valuable contract. And if he ever starts being a problem again, or you need to dump him or trade him, he's easy to trade or cut because he costs you nothing after that. You got no dead money after. So he's so much more valuable in all of those aspects than Hopkins or Diggs is because of the money. And so I was pissed off, and I don't know why they're getting rid of him when we don't know what this team could actually look like without an idiot running it. Okay. So anyway, this afternoon, a lot of tweets start coming in and a lot of information starts coming in. News from the Browns organization, the media from the Browns, very, very close beat writers, working with them, saying, look, we haven't heard anything. No, we don't know where this information is coming from. Then you go to the beat writers from Minnesota, who also work very close to the team. If you watch some of these teams, you'll see Adam Schefter and the big guys, Ian Rappaport, breaking big news. Some of the teams, it's always a local beat writer that breaks the news. Cleveland and Minnesota are two teams that work with their beat writers to get them hits and access more than most do. And everybody has said these two teams aren't talking. This conversation just didn't happen. And then they all believe this was all made up by a radio guy out of New York. And the only logical reason anybody can think of this is you've got some dude that's butthurt, that's a butthurt Giants fan that wants to stir the pot and throw Odell's name out there as if things are a problem. And it's that kind of stuff that just pisses me off because, A, I've spent all day cussing my own team now, trying to figure out what the hell is going on in Cleveland. And then now come to find out it's just a dude. And then I'm defending Odell again because since he's left New York, he hasn't been a problem.
Yeah. I mean,
if
you're
he
right.
wanted to be a diva, if he really was a problem, last year was a spectacular chance for him to be a problem. Because his quarterback was trash and his head coach was the dumbest head coach to ever don a headset in the NFL. And he was pretty kosher the entire year.
Yeah, you never really heard any issues out of him all year.
I think his problems were in New York.
You're probably right.
He's not there anymore, and I think he's going to be just fine. And if Cleveland did decide to trade him, then great. I hope he goes somewhere that's not a mega city like that, where he can stay clean and stay cool and do a great job. I want him to stay in Cleveland. I really want to see what this ship can look like
with a competent head coach.
And I've told you, the Baker thing doesn't scare me anymore. I know this sounds insane, but once they signed, my brain just went away again.
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Yep. Because
Stefanski knows if Baker can't cut it, but this team looks good and they're poised to go on a run, I'll yank that kid in a second.
Yeah.
Because I got a guy who I know knows the offense.
Yeah, a guy that can obviously run what he does. Yeah.
So Baker will either get better or he'll sit down.
Yeah. And I think, Case Keenum, he's good enough that guys like Odell Beckham can make him better.
Yeah.
You know?
And they've shored up this offensive line. Makes me so happy. They've spent so much money in free agency on offensive linemen. I don't even know where I'd want to go in this draft. Once I'd probably draft another O-lineman because the rest of our O-line are really expensive right now. Yeah. And it's one of those things where if we get into cap trouble, if we draft somebody and they're a stud, we can trade. The O-linemen have great value. So we could trade an offensive lineman for something and free up some cap space too.
Not a bad idea.
That would be my pick. I don't know offensively I'd take anybody else. I really don't.
I mean they're pretty stacked on offense and defense. I mean they got talent across the board.
A perfect scenario, I want Simmons to fall, but Simmons ain't falling to 10.
No, I think Simmons ends up going like top 6, top 7.
I do too. Now, if he falls, nobody will.
Somebody's coming up to get him. Like nobody
will be happier. I don't want the Browns to waste any more draft capital to move up to try to get him, but I'd sure love to have him fall.
Oh yeah, no, I think everybody would.
If they could listen now, if they could do some dirty pool,
he may be the best player in the draft.
Nasty rumors about Simmons out here to make him fall. If anybody's got a picture of him in a bone gas mask, I'll take it right now.
There you go.
Not upset about it.
Let me ask you this right quick. What do you think about the Browns' new uniforms?
I like them. I don't think they're new. I think they're
going back
to the traditional, the classic, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I didn't notice a humongous difference. But I like it
for uniforms. I'm either traditional. I don't ride the middle of the fence with uniforms. I either like teams that do super new, modern things, Seattle when they go crazy and stuff like that, or I want traditional, classic.
Yes.
If you try to do a little modern with the traditional, I think it always looks weird.
Like Atlanta. I don't like Atlanta's at all. But the Falcons look like trash.
It's hard for me to separate because I like to make fun of Atlanta. I like to make fun of the Falcons.
I think everybody does.
I don't know why. They never did anything wrong to me. I think Atlanta's one of the most fun cities to go hang out and party.
And I like the Falcons. I've always liked the Dirty Birds. Like but I make fun of them all the time.
But I'm gonna crap on the Falcons. I think Matt Ryan's a nerd. I just think he's a goofy. He's a dork.
Matty Ice.
He's a dork. Somebody needs to put him in a locker.
Matty Ice. He's fun.
Matty Ice. He's not Matty Ice.
I know, right?
That's a cool nickname. Iceman was cool. He is not cool.
Yeah. No.
Nobody has ever gone out with that guy and been like, you know what? He's really cool.
Michael jumped in.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
I took him for $1,000.
Michael said the Falcons do look terrible. Yeah, they do. All right, so let's move on. Topic number 3 or 4 or whatever the hell this is. UFC. I am stoked about this. The May 9th card. They've already started talking about this.
Are we actually doing this?
So they say. Now, all the fights have been agreed to, contingent on the idea that it actually happens. This one is supposed to happen on Fight Island, and I mean, UFC actually publicized.
He's leaving. So this one, we're leaving the state of California. We're just saying
we are leaving the United States of America, brother. We are leaving, and we are going to Fight Island. We are going to a private island where all the infrastructure is being built, and the only thing they're going to have on this island is an arena to fight in. That's it. No spectators, no nothing. But I want you to listen to this card, okay?
Okay.
Ferguson and Gaethje headlining. That is the interim lightweight title fight.
That's the one we wanted.
Yep.
Okay.
Henry Cejudo against Dominic Cruz. That is the bantamweight title fight. So that's 2 right there.
Yeah.
Then you got Amanda Nunes against Felicia Spencer. That is the featherweight women's title fight. That's 3 title fights before you even get to the undercard, which in and of itself would have been a good enough card to watch anyway. You got Ngannou against Rosenstruck. You got Stevens against, what is it? Keter? What? Whatever. I can't read my own writing. You got Cowboy Cerrone against Showtime Pettis, which is an incredibly.
I still love watching Cowboy. I know he's lost a step.
But so is Showtime. Showtime Pettis. These are fan-friendly fights. These are fan favorites. These 2. So Pettis against Cerrone, that's a big one. You got Greg Hardy against DeCastro. That's a fun one. Obviously, a lot of people, we can talk about all of Greg Hardy's stuff that happened in the past all we want to. Bottom line is, people like to watch him fight. It is what it is. He's a professional athlete. He's good at what he does. And then you got Oleinik against Fabricio Werdum. And, man, along with all of the undercard stuff, it is slammed. There's enough for 2 pay-per-views in this one. If I were them, I would have split this thing in 2 and done it on 2 different nights.
Yeah, or save it because at one point in time he said, if they originally did the one that they were supposed to do last week, if they did that one, they were going to do every 2 weeks have a fight.
Well, now they're going to get to the point where they have to do it they'll have a fight on Thursday, a fight on Friday, a fight on Saturday. And to be able to catch back up because they got to do 42 events for ESPN in order to get their contract. So they got to get their money.
Yeah, hang on now. ESPN told them don't and cut the last one.
But they still have to hit because of contractual obligations. It's got nothing to do with natural disasters or an act of gods or anything, or acts of God, whatever.
I get it. I'm making a.
I know. I'm with you.
All these people want their content, but they want to control when you do it and how you do it.
Well,
we don't like the optics, so we don't want you to do it right now.
I told you it had to do with it being.
Shit done.
It was in California. And because of their political ties in California, Disney's political ties in California, they couldn't do it there. But if they're doing it on international soil, I mean, you can't stop them from doing that. So if it's on some private island somewhere, cheers to it, my brother. Cheers to it. Let's jump into this last topic right quick. We'll argue this for just a few minutes because I don't think this one will take forever. But this is from yesterday. This is the topic that you and I were going to discuss to end yesterday's show, and I ended up having to go out and fix my fence. So,
okay.
By the way, Michael jumped in. He said Gavin Newsom is terrible. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seems like he's got a pretty good grasp on what this thing has been doing, this COVID stuff. But anyway,
this is the first thing he's done good in his entire term.
Yeah, but even now, because he's talking about not bringing back pro sports until 2021.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have NFL teams leaving the state. You're going to have Major League Baseball teams leaving the state to go play, all that. So
he's trying to make it safer than it needs to be. He's trying to make it more extreme than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And somehow he thinks that'll make him look good. But he's done a good job with this stuff. He hasn't been bad. But up until then, I follow a lot of guys that live in LA and
yeah, I know.
Pretty worthless.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Go ahead.
All right, so the question is, the first team to win the college football national title, and it is out of a group, okay? This is out of this group, a non-Ohio State Big Ten team, okay, a non-Clemson ACC team, or a Pac-12 team. Now, the numbers will tell you that other than USC winning it in 2004, no team west of the Mississippi River has won a national championship in, 20 years?
It's been a while.
It may have been longer than that. I can't remember what the exact stat.
Long time.
So,
Texas.
Okay, Texas. Okay, so USC and Texas were the only two.
I think those are the only two.
And then other than SEC teams, you've got Clemson,
Florida State.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been the SEC for a long time.
Well, yeah, we went through a run of the BCS where it was.
I mean, and then Ohio State. So Clemson, Florida State, Ohio State, Texas, USC, and then your Alabama, Auburn,
I don't know
LSU,
how
Florida.
far back we're going. When was the last Miami championship? That was in the
2001.
they lost to Ohio State that year.
The
Willis McGahee year. That was way over 20 years, right? How old am I?
2001 was Miami. 2002 is the Miami team that lost to Ohio State.
Oh, then okay. Well, that's 20 years in. Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Either way, so non-Ohio State Big Ten, non-Clemson ACC, or a Pac-12 team, who is the first to win a college football national title going forward?
So I tried to make a list of teams that realistically have a chance in that group.
I did the same thing.
And here's my list. I've got Oregon, USC, but I think Clay Helton would have to lose his job.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin can win a championship. I think Penn State can win a championship. I know I'm going to get shit on for this. I think Michigan can win a championship, even though yesterday I said that Notre Dame's ceiling was it. I think Florida State. Now, a lot of that is love for Mike Norvell. With the way these teams are constructed.
Hey, by the way,
now,
those are the exact same teams that I had written down here.
Now, let me tell you something. If Urban Meyer takes over Arizona State tomorrow, they now have a shot at this, okay? Like,
we know that ain't
we have to go with what we got.
Yeah.
We can't say,
just base it on the coaches that you got right now. That you can tell what they're doing.
I put USC in there in name only. I do not believe Clay Helton can win a national title, but I also don't think Clay Helton is a bad coach.
But we also understand what the situation is at USC, and that is that Clay Helton will eventually lose his job.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's my guess.
If I had to pick one, gun to my head right now, one of these teams. I got it. The closest I think is Penn State. I trust that coach the most.
Really?
And I think that program, they're pretty damn talented year in and year out.
Yeah, they are. Here, my answer is Oregon. By the way,
that would be my second choice.
Matt and Michael both said that's a great question. I have to ride with the Pac-12, and Matt said the Pac-12. Now, we were talking about specific teams.
Specific teams, not a conference, not anything. Yeah, we're trying to narrow down specific teams. If you give me the field, I'll take Pac-12. Hey, I get 12 teams.
Yeah, but you also get USC and Oregon.
I get both of them. And if Chip Kelly just happens to turn things around at UCLA, we don't know that in 2 years UCLA doesn't look like Oregon, and it just took Chip a little while to figure it out.
Yeah, but Oregon was immensely talented when Chip Kelly took over because of Michael Lottie.
We don't know in 2 years UCLA won't be able to do that. It's not like talent's not in California.
No, that's true. But with as bad as their recruiting has been the last 2 seasons, it's going to take longer than that for them to get to a national point. Oregon is relatively close. They were number 12 in recruiting in the country this past year, number 7 the year before that, number 13 the year before that, and it was still top 20. I think number 19 or 18, whatever it was. Matt jumped in and said Washington. No, not now. I don't know. But even still,
who their coach is. If you told me they were Chris Peterson there, they'd be in this conversation absolutely.
Well, even still, they still don't recruit at a high level. Matt jumped in and said
Chris Peterson.
But
you know me in college, though. You know why I picked Penn State over Oregon? Because I trust the coach.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Would you trust Franklin over Cristobal?
I would trust Cristobal over Franklin.
That's crazy. That's in the end game coaching. That's just the resume.
I don't think that's crazy at all.
Cristobal at all.
Well, no, not yet. But
he could build a team. But we got a resume of him blowing games.
In Franklin's
of him making mistakes.
Yeah, okay.
Making mistakes.
I understand where you're coming from, but Franklin
unprepared.
Franklin did the same thing. He's done the same stuff against. Think about the biggest game that you can remember for Penn State. That was against Ohio State. The year after they won the Big Ten, when they got left out of the playoff, what was it, 4th and 4 or 4th and 5 or whatever, and they run a draw play I mean, it was against on the side of Chase Young. So terrible decisions all around. But I'm with you. Here's Matt said ACC teams always screw up somehow during the season. There's not another other than Florida State.
Oh no,
and Miami's got talent too.
I trust Norvell to go down there and figure
write
some
that
things
shit
out.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. I need Mike Norvell to make them look like the University of Memphis with Florida players instead of University of Memphis players. Then they absolutely can win a national championship. Other than that, I'd love for Virginia Tech to be on this. I've been so hard, but I'm just wrong.
No, they're not going to be talented enough to be able to win a national championship because
Fuente just ain't. He just don't have it.
No, he just for whatever reason.
Level.
Yeah, for whatever reason that's what happened. Matt said the Pac-12. He said 2 up and down in the Big Ten. Pac-12 could just have a team that plays a great schedule while an SEC team is 2 bit up. Michael said Oregon probably the closest. I'd like to see Utah, maybe ASU. And then Matt said Washington has built up immunity to COVID-19, so they will then infect everyone as they play. I'm so glad we have these chats, man. I swear.
I do think that Oregon's probably the closest.
I think
if I had a playoff game between teams being even, Franklin and Cristobal, I would take Franklin.
I can understand that. I think Cristobal understands the line of scrimmage better than Franklin does. He may not always have a better line, but man, I mean, their offensive line this past year was a wrecking ball, and their defensive line has gotten ridiculous, man. Their front seven on the defense
because he's
is
a
insane.
meathead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what you have to have to win.
Head coach. I love that guy on my coaching staff. I don't want a meathead for a head coach. I just don't.
You got Ed Orgeron at LSU. What are you talking about? He's like the king of the meatheads.
Ed Orgeron is absolutely not a meathead. He's not a genius, but he's just there's a difference being country strong and crazy. Ed Orgeron does not look like a meathead. You know what I mean by a meathead.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know.
You're talking about a dude with a 24-inch waist and a 52-inch chest.
Yeah.
Arms so big that he can't hold his ding-a-ling when he pees. All right? That's Cristobal. That's a meathead. That's a guy that looks in the gym and just stares at himself all day long.
I think Oregon is playing SEC-type football right now, and I think that because they play the same style of football as Clemson, LSU, Alabama, etc., if they can persuade enough kids that are out there on the West Coast to come there to be the preeminent program, I think that Oregon can win because I think that the schedule sets up easier for them than it does for a Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from.
Penn
with
State
it. So,
is always going to have a much difficult schedule.
Matt said Nike has to get them some more flashy uniforms and get some kids coming up for the bling bling. And he also said, yah, football. And Michael jumped in. He asked this question. Any non-power conference teams, SMU, Memphis, no. There's not a group of 5 team that will be able to win a national championship with the way that things are currently constructed.
Yeah.
It just won't happen. I'd love to see it. I think it'd make this sport insanely more interesting.
But
it's not going to happen.
We would need a lot to change, but if there is a program capable of doing it, it will be UCF.
Yeah,
because
right now.
They have the biggest school alumni in the country.
Well,
not alumni, but enrollment. They're the largest school in the country. They have a gazillion dollars.
Yeah,
okay?
They
don't have old money like Harvard and Stanford and those places. They got new money.
Yeah, their endowment is still pretty big. Yeah.
They got new tech money, which is stupid. And they kind of like that they're the little guy. I'm going to tell you, if somebody could build a Power 5 team of athletes that could compete with the big boys, it's them.
Yeah. Now, their recruiting, their recruiting is not there yet. But
it's not, I can't tell you in 5-6 years they won't.
Yeah. Now, it all depends. I mean, we still don't really know about Josh Heupel. I mean, we got to see what he does.
Once again, in 5-6 years, a lot could change.
A lot can change. But
they're the only program strictly because of their money and location.
That's it. Matt said UCF also has the bikini girls. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just telling you, money, you have to be in, if you're going to be a small school to win, you have to be in Florida or Texas, I fully believe, or you can't do it because you've got to be able to find 3-star kids that really are 5-star kids. They just couldn't read or nobody could find them because they were in the middle of nowhere.
It's what Baylor did. It's what Matt Rule did at Baylor
was just unbelievable at.
I mean, he found talent that wasn't being recruited by everybody else and was able to get them into school. Like that's,
and those guys were unbelievable.
It's what Mike Norvell
graded wrong.
Yeah, it's what Mike Norvell did at Memphis. He got the 3 stars that couldn't get into school at some of these other places, the Mississippi Delta kids, and got them into Memphis, and it worked out brilliantly. I mean, my gosh, I mean some of these kids were unreal, and he has turned them into NFL stars.
When you're in a state like Florida, you don't have to leave the state. I mean, you can put together a Power 5, an SEC type school out of just kids in Florida, and hell, I mean, you could probably realistically comb the JUCOs of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi and Louisiana, and load up a team. It just takes, at some point in time, you got to put all those pieces together at the same time.
Before we get out of here, I got to correct Michael on something. He said I'd take the California girls over UCF bikini girls any day. It ain't the same, brother. I've been out there,
man. I've been out west, and it's nice, but
it ain't the same as Southern girls. It just ain't.
No.
And we can have that discussion some other time if we want to get into that.
It's really not.
But it ain't the same. It ain't the same. You need to come down here, see what we're working with, and then go back on.
Now you got to be careful. See, this Cali girls, I'm gonna bet are soft emotionally.
Oh, Lord,
I don't know this. I'm criticizing people. You come to the South and you talk crazy to a girl, she will beat your ass.
100%. So it's what toughened us up. Michael said I hadn't been south past Texas. He said I'll come down. I've already invited him down to Memphis. Said bring it on, brother. We would love to have you. All right, we've gone 56 minutes deep in this. This was a fun conversation today. I feel like we're getting better every day. That's my plan. We get the reps in. We keep these conversations going. I love talking about this kind of stuff. We hopefully we'll have Falika on sometime next week, kind of prepping for the draft a little bit. I talked to him last night. We'll invite some more guests on and whatnot, and we'll figure this thing out. But we will keep having conversations that are interesting, at least to us. But if you have any ideas, you want to email them to us, Gary at winningcureseverything.com, Chris at winningcureseverything.com, or just hit us up on Twitter. He's at Chris B. Giannini. I'm at Gary WCE, or you can obviously text the show's account. That's at Winning Cures. We would appreciate that. Make sure that you leave some nice comments, nice reviews. Subscribe to the show. We're on Twitch. We're on Periscope. We're on YouTube. Just go to winningcureseverything.com. It's got everything up there. Everything that you could possibly need. Chris, anything else we need to hit, brother?
Yeah, Brian.
That is it. All right. We hope you guys have a good afternoon. We will see you all again at the same time tomorrow. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.